Hello, 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 mama friends. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I'm so excited you're here. Whew. We are talking all things managing mom guilt as a working mom today. It is May. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm doing lots of mental health work this month with clients, with companies, and I just thought this would be such an important topic to bring up on today's episode. So if you are new in town, my name is Marissa Lonick. I'm your host. I'm the founder of Mama Work It, where we support women in the juggle of mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. And today we're talking mom guilt. So when I think of mom guilt, I think of visually, I imagine this uninvited guest who shows up all the time when you really don't want her to. She overstays her welcome. She's got like zero boundaries and she just drives you like freaking crazy. Okay. Maybe she wears shoes in your no shoes allowed house. Maybe she wears really obnoxious, noisy jewelry that makes tons of noise and your baby's napping and wakes him up. Maybe she speaks at high volume all the time. Maybe she says what's on her mind without giving a shit at all how it might make you feel. That's what I picture when I think of mom guilt, like if she were a real person, because mom guilt is real, it's annoying, and it can feel super hard to escape. The worst part of mom guilt, that I think anyway, is that she tends to show up in really sneaky ways too, right? Like she's not just making you feel bad about the obvious, which maybe is your parenting or the quality time you spend with your kids or your ability to deliver healthy organic snacks and meals that your kids love and ask you for on repeat, that they lick their plate clean whenever you give it to them, like homemade granola or plain Greek yogurt bars with berries and a touch of honey as your sweetener. Those kids devour it. No. Mom guilt is not just about all those things, those quote unquote, like real super mom, power mom related moves. Mom guilt likes to show up in really sneaky ways too. Okay. Examples. Mom guilt can make you feel guilty about spending money on yourself, about getting your nails done, about buying a new outfit, about going out with the girls and dropping $100. Mom guilt can make you feel bad about that. Mom guilt can make you feel bad about not being the wife or the partner you want to show up as. Like maybe you feel guilty that you're cranky and annoyed with your spouse when you really just want to be like young and fun, but you can't because you're so fucking tired. Okay. Mom guilt can make you feel guilty about not showing up at work the way you used to, not staying late, not answering emails at 7 p.m. because it's bath time or bedtime or chaos time at your house, declining the happy hour, networking, schmoozing fast because you're not really interested in attending anymore, even though maybe if you were there, you could get promoted. So mom guilt shows up in sneaky ways. She shows up in your house, right? She shows up making you feel bad about your house looking like a tornado hit it every time you look around. Laundry piles, dirty clothes, clean clothes, clothes that need to be folded and put away, clothes that are folded but still need to be put away, clothes that are stuck in the washing machine that you forgot to switch to the dryer again. Mom guilt can show up in the sneaky way of you not calling your mom or your sister or your best friend back because you look at texts at red lights and then the light turns green and then you're a responsible driver. So you put your phone down and then you forget all about the text call reply until 3 a.m. 2 weeks later. That's another sneaky way mom guilt can show up. Mom guilt is such a drag. Okay. A lot of ways she shows up for you. It is no wonder you feel like she's really got a strong grasp on you. Okay. And it's like really hard to let go. Okay. It is hard AF being a mom. And I just want to validate that before we move on to our ways to get this B in check in your life. Like it is hard. It is really hard It is really hard to let go of mom guilt. It's really hard to lock your door and find ways to prevent her from getting in. It is really hard to not let her penetrate other areas of your life. It's hard. So today we're going to talk about some ways to minimize that mom guilt in your life, however you may be feeling it, financially, in your relationship, at work, in your house, no matter how it's showing up. I'm going to teach you 3 simple tips to make it happen. Really simple. You know, I like to do simple things, but it is worth saying that just because these tips are simple does not necessarily mean they're easy. Just because they're simple doesn't mean they're easy. Elizabeth Lyons, one of my favorite authors, a past 2-time guest on the show, she says this in her book, Enough. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. This stuff takes work. It takes practice. It takes messing up and getting it right. And still, even when you think you've mastered it, you're probably going to flop here and there because you're human and that's what happens. Okay. I don't want to say that to discourage you. I want that to hopefully encourage you. If you're feeling like, why bother? Mom guilt's never leaving. She's here to stay. This is just what it is. It's the season I'm in. I have to deal with it. No, you don't have to deal with it. You have to figure out ways to make it work for you, work it in your favor. Okay. So these are the tips I'm going to share with you today. Are you ready? If you are in a place where it is safe to write these things down, you might want to do that. If you're on the go, driving on a walk, and you can't do that, you can always come back and re-listen, because the last thing I want is for you to hear this information today and then do nothing with it. If you do nothing with it, a week from today, you will forget 3/4 of what I tell you on this podcast. But if you actually jot this stuff down, make a note on your phone, whatever it is, implement 1 or 2 or 3 of these steps, it's going to make a tremendous impact for you. And it's not going to be a waste of your damn time. Okay. Because who's got time for that? Not me. All right. So number 1, when it comes to mom guilt, be the adult you want your kids to be one day. Be the adult you want your kids to be one day. Let's dissect this a little bit more. If I am a mom who is constantly in martyr mode, and I don't mean I'm like victimizing myself and making people feel bad for me. I mean, I'm really not treating myself with self-respect. I'm constantly saying no to fun things because I don't feel worthy to participate. I don't feel worthy to spend the money on myself. Or I am, feeling bad all the time about my house being a disaster. And then that comes out. It comes out in my facial expressions. It comes out in the way I am showing up for my kids. I can't be fun and light because I'm anxious and stressed about my home or whatever it is. I, constantly feel pulled and pushed and pulled in so many different directions that I honestly can't be present. I'm not there, and that's affecting me. All of these ways mom guilt is creeping in and sabotaging your behavior on a day-to-day basis. You are modeling for your kids, this is what adulting looks like. And by you modeling this, even though you're not like directly telling them these things per se, it's a form of parenting. And so they look at you and they think, oh, well, I guess when I get older, I guess when I become a mom, this is just what it is. I don't buy myself nice things. I don't, say yes to the party. I don't pay attention and play with my kids and be fully present because I have 700 other things I'm doing. And believe it or not, those things that they're observing are things that they're storing in their brain to think, well, this is what I do when I'm older. This is going to be my reality. This is the behavior you do when you're an adult, when you're a parent. And so you need to be the adult. You need to be the mom you want your kids to be one day. If you want your kids to enjoy their life to the fullest, you need to enjoy your life to the fullest. If you want your kids to be stressed AF all the time, well, good. You're doing a great job. Not saying you, but you know what I mean. You need to be the mom, the adult you want your kids to be one day. And it starts with not letting guilt, mom guilt, penetrate all these areas of your life and affect your ability to show up, your behavior that you're modeling. I'll share a really quick story with you. Years ago, I got invited to something called Mom's Day Away. I share about this story in my first book, Time Management. If you've heard it before, listen up. You're going to hear it again. So I got invited to this thing called Mom's Day Away. It was an Evite. It looked like so much fun. It was a day in Napa Valley. Who wouldn't want to go wine tasting in Napa Valley for a day with a bunch of other moms? I mean, it sounded incredible, right? So first I open up the Evite. I'm super excited. Immediately, mom guilt shows up uninvited and starts sabotaging it for me. What does she do? She's in my brain going, you can't go on that trip. It's a Saturday. You're a working mom. Saturday's your day you spend with your family. Saturday's the day you organize your home and get ready for the week ahead. This is going to be really a disaster if you do it. Second form of mom guilt starts showing up. You're going to drop all that money on a day out with your friends. Think about what that money could do. Think about what you could buy your kids. Think about how you could save for their college, all those things. Mom guilt was showing up left, right, front, center, backwards, forwards, sideways, you name it. So what did I do? I closed the email and I ignored it because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I should say yes to the opportunity. And so what happened was a few weeks later, I had sort of forgotten about this Evite, and it was past the RSVP date, and I was embarrassingly called out that I had not RSVP'd because honestly, I was in an internal conflict with what I should do. And so at that point, I needed to make a decision. And I'm happy to report I did make the decision to go to Mom's Day Away. It was super fun. It was awesome. It was everything you'd imagine it would be. It was laughing. It was delicious wine. It was beautiful views. It was really recharging my battery as a mom, but not just as a mom, as a woman, as a person in general, a human being. It was amazing, an amazing experience. And I'm so glad that I did that because it really helped me recognize the fact that I was showing my kids in a way, hey, if you get invited to something really fun that you want to do, don't let these guilty feelings sabotage that for you and make it happen. And I came home and I was happy and I was excited to see them and we had a great evening together. And that was that. So be the adult you want your kids to be one day. Say yes to the fun things, spend the money, do the things, like whatever it looks like for you. Don't let mom guilt sabotage that for you. Second tip, recognize the highest self version of you doesn't play with mom guilt. Be more like her. It is possible for you. So what do I mean by this? I am a certified intuitive life and business coach. If you did not know, I do a lot of subconscious work with my clients on myself. I've done a lot of this work and I continue to do it because I know how important it is. If you close your eyes, if you're not someone who meditates regularly, you've never heard of this highest self version of you, that's okay. I'll explain it to you really quickly here. And if it is safe for you to do it, close your eyes and let me kind of guide you through it. If it is not safe for you to do it right now, do this later. Okay. So if you close your eyes and you really imagine what a perfect day, a perfect situation in your life would be. And I know nothing's perfect, but really when you think about it, what does this look like? Is this, are you living in a different home? Do you have a different job? Are your kids dressed in, Janie and Jack latest outfits that are super duper cute? Are you someone in your highest self version that exercises every day or, are like an expert yoga facilitator? Do you, do you have a fancy coffee machine in your house? Like all of these highest self version things of you, like what does this look like? Right? Are you someone who, rides your bike every day? That's something you do for yourself. Are you someone whose nails are always done? What does this highest self version of you do? Your highest self version of you probably, I'm going to venture to guess, doesn't play with mom guilt. Okay. She doesn't allow mom guilt to get in the way, to sabotage things, to take any of this wonderful, beautiful life around her and make it not wonderful and beautiful. which is what mom guilt tends to do. She tends to shift our perspective in a lot of ways. Go back to this version of you. This version of you exists. If you can imagine what this version of you looks like, if you can visualize this, it is possible for you to achieve it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to think it up. If it's possible for you to achieve it, it's possible for you to have it. And if mom guilt is not part of that highest self version of you, which I don't think she is, you can absolutely get there. So recognize there is a version of you that I imagine you are striving to get closer and closer and closer to each and every day, and be that person and show up as that person. If that version of you does not have any remnants of mom guilt, go to that place when you need to. Recognize there's a possibility for you to get there and be there. It is a growth journey. It takes time. It takes practice. It's not linear, but it's possible. All right. We're moving on to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is this. Take a deep freaking breath. Take a deep breath. Literally. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. When I was in coaching school, we read this book called Taming Your Gremlin. Taming Your Gremlin. Okay. Right now, mom guilt might be your gremlin. Rick Carson, who's the author, he says this in his book. He says, when you are taming your gremlin, when you are handling this thing in your life that's really bugging you, bothering you, preventing you from moving forward, doing things, whatever it is, to simply notice, pause, notice, acknowledge, recognize it. That simple understanding and recognition can help you recalibrate with more knowledge and wisdom, move on, make the right decision for yourself in the moment. How do you simply notice? You take a deep breath, you pause. You don't just keep going and move right past it, right? Think about if you're driving a car really fast, you're not going to notice a lot of things around you. But if you were moving a lot slower, or if you actually were stopped at a stop sign at a red light, you would notice. So if you're feeling any of those feelings you might get when you feel like mom guilt is creeping in, I want you to take a deep breath. And maybe, if you want, read Taming Your Gremlin, because it's a really freaking good book. Okay. So there you have it. 3 tips to managing mom guilt as a mom, as a working mom, no matter how she is showing up for you. People ask me all the time about whether or not you can totally eliminate working mom guilt or just mom guilt in general. I'm going to be honest. I don't know the answer to that. I don't. Like, at this point in my life, I think I've done a lot of work to get mom guilt to a more manageable place. Like, she visits a lot less frequently. She stays for shorter periods of time. Maybe she follows the rules a little bit more, respects my boundaries a little bit more, but I can't say I've eliminated her completely. I do think, though, there are a lot of ways that you can keep her in check and not let her rain on your mom life parade. Okay? I also want to mention that oftentimes this guilt, this mom guilt, it's actually rooted in a lot of other things in your life. Like, if you feel like you're doing a bad job at balancing work life and mom life, this could be rooted in mom guilt. If you feel like your marriage is not in a good place, or you're losing touch with your friends, mom guilt could be something you need to work through in order to fix this issue. Mom guilt can manifest and mess things up in your life in a lot of ways. But the good news is you have total control to change that. Your mindset, my friends, is responsible for 95% of your success. And just like you can feel guilty about something, you can feel not guilty about something. It is like that simple. Not always easy, but a simple switch. So if you want to chat more about this crazy concept of making that mindset shift, let's do it. As an intuitive life and business coach, I support moms all the time in this area, and I help them show up powerfully, authentically, confidently and guilt free so they can achieve their goals and live their best damn life. So I am dropping a link in today's show notes, not only to the books that I recommended in today's episode, because I definitely think you should read those, but also just scheduling a free breakthrough call with me so I can learn more about you and recommend the best solution to help you feel less guilt as a working mom. I cannot wait to chat with you, but in the meantime, keep on working it, mama. Bye.